It's the holiday season, and what do you do in holiday season?
You party!
And you also want to play board games. So which ones are the best of both worlds?
These ones.
So in this video, we're gonna rank the top 10 all-time party board games that we have played.
Yes, these are the party games of all time. No, we have played. So you rated them, I rated them, and the average is gonna be pulled together to see what are the top 10 ones.
And we don't know yet where they're gonna be. We
No.
didn't see the scores. Number 10 party game of all time ever. Skull. Number 10, Skull.
Well, you rated it that high. Yeah, so Skull is a secret bluffing bidding game where you just place down a coaster face down, and it can be either a skull, hence the name, or not skull. And instead of placing down the coaster, you can make a bid.
You can name a number, for example, 2.
And then I could say 3 or pass.
When everybody except one person has passed, that person has to turn over that many coasters as last number was.
Yeah, the highest bid essentially. Yeah. And if you get a skull,
You lose that bid and lose one of your discs, one of your coasters.
but if you don't open the skull,
Then you get a victory point, and whoever gets 2 victory points wins the game.
yeah, so quite simple. Might have not sounded like it, but it is.
It's super quick. Each round is super quick, and tons of fun.
Well, that's why it's here.
Yeah.
So number 9.
9 is Wavelength. Ooh,
Okay.
wow. I actually rated it much higher. Interesting that you rated it that low.
Wavelength is a team versus team or a fully cooperative game where one player knows a word and then he has to give a clue to that word because you want to fit a certain what do we call it?
Range.
Range. Yeah. And the word that I had was Giannis. Then I'd go.
I'm really interested in where you're going with this, because I have no clue which game are you describing.
Go ahead, let's start over.
Yeah.
So Wavelength, tons and tons of fun.
So in general, you have a range between 2 things. One might be green, and the
Yes,
other
yes.
one is red.
I forgot that part.
Right?
Yes.
Mhm, exactly.
I've played this game.
And you know where between this range, everybody else needs to guess.
Where do you want them to hit?
Yeah, but nobody else knows except you. And you can give everybody a hint. For example, an apple. Really cool, colorful game, as well as everybody can play it. I
Yeah.
recently played it in Christmas with my whole family, all ages, and it was a party hit for sure. Ready, next one?
Yes, it better be one of mine, otherwise I quit this.
Clask.
Clask is a 2-player dexterity game. Essentially, if I had to describe it in one sentence, it's air hockey.
Exactly, and the most fun part about it is that you can make a tournament in your party
Yeah.
and have tons of fun.
The game takes 10 minutes and interestingly, it adds a few features like small magnets that stick to you or the way that you move your piece around that can score you points in different ways, not just hitting the goal.
There's new stuff introduced, yet it's super simple to explain and play. Now I'm actually really worried because my game's all here, so your game's gonna be there.
Let's hope. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Long shot, the dice
Yes,
game.
so here we go. Finally, we're starting with something good.
We actually discussed, is this a party game? Because there might be a bit too much rules for it, yet it's really good.
It's definitely most complex of all these. The final, the end of the game, when you want your horse to win, they're screaming, they're shouting, everyone's cheering on their horses. It's my definition of party game. It is on the complex side, but it can play, up to 8 players. Turns go pretty quick. It's a fantastic racing game where you bid onto horses. It's essentially a roll and write game.
Yep.
Where you bid on horses and you scratch off different things to get different actions. You can buy the horses and it's just a whole lot of fun.
Number 6, Dungeon Fighters.
Where are my games?
Probably here. I don't know. The whole idea is that you as a team go into a dungeon and fight monsters. But the fighting is really silly, yet still complex and interesting. Weird and interesting balance. Yeah, you have a huge target on the table and you do what?
You throw dice at it.
There are 3 colored dice, and you can throw one of them. Each one of them are connected to your character, and
Special abilities.
so there's a choice which one to take. Because when you use it, and everybody else won't have it. And there's also different tasks,
Limitations how you attack the monster. So, for example, you have to use your other hand, non-dominant hand. You have to use somebody else's hand. You have to close your eyes. It's just crazy. Anything you can imagine and more. And sometimes they have to be combined.
People who don't like board games will tend to like this one.
It's very video gamey. So if you have some teenager who's Fortnite, then this.
Yeah, Dungeon Fighters. That's how conversations with teenagers go.
Yeah. So, Dungeon Fire is like a video game. Snozberries taste like snozberries.
What?
I mean, video games like a video game. Dungeon Fighter is like a video game. Snozberries taste like snozberries.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Just check out our Patreon, then you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Sometimes you're just weird, man.
Anyway, snozberries do taste like snozberries.
Yep. 3, 2, 1. Catch!
Yes! Okay, we're good. Yeah, I thought it'd be higher. This is actually my number 1 rated
wow.
party
Nice.
game. One player shows a word, and he doesn't see it. And then everyone draws the word. But you want to be the first to draw the word, because when you're done, you grab number 1, and you're going to be the first one to be guessed on. But you also want the word to be guessed. How much detail do I add to it? Because it's super quick, the drawing. If you draw super bad, all the better. Everyone's going to be laughing and having a lot of fun. Essentially, I care for scoring only because that ends the game. It plays up to 6 players. And I also play different generations, like my son's favorite games, even though he cries every time he loses it. He's a very emotional player.
Drawing games usually are hits or misses in different companies. But this one feels like it's something that everybody could play.
Best drawing game hands down, and I think it is my favorite party game of all time.
Well, what you're gonna say about this one? Feed the Kraken.
And now this is my favorite party game.
Let's go with this. This is the best game on this list. And you're gonna say, what?
It is.
It's number 4? Yes.
It is a party game, but imagine you go like, oh, hey, do you want to play a quick, simple game? This is it. What is it, 5 hours? No, it's 30 minutes.
It's big, it's massive, and the rest of them are like smaller games, so we kind of shied away from putting it number 1. In general, it is the best game here, we feel like. So what is it all about, Giannis? How do you feed the freaking Kraken?
How do you feed the Kraken? You feed the Kraken first by dividing into 3 teams. You all are on the same ship, and you want the ship to go to a certain place. If you're a pirate, you want it to go to that island. If you're a crew member, you want it to go to that island. Or if you are the cultist leader, you want it to go to the Kraken or be fed to the Kraken. Captain, and the captain will change, will decide who will be the navigator and who will be the lieutenant, and then they will decide which way the ship will go together.
But there might be a mutiny.
There might be, so might
because
be
I don't really like that you're the captain. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, don't you always? Then maybe Giannis will be the captain.
In general, it's a hidden role game with tons of twists, and it's not intimidating, except when you put the huge box on the table.
Yeah. Actually, when you fold out the board, it still keeps going intimidating. And actually, when you just start playing, it's not that bad.
We reviewed it highly, and I have talked about it a lot lately. So just check it out, the review, if you haven't, and if you probably have, then why are we still talking?
I mean, it's definitely an amazing party game for gamers.
Next one. Duplik.
AKA Identic, or what else it has been called. Also a fantastic drawing game.
My favorite drawing game.
So in this game, one player is like the describer of a picture. And he has a minute to look at the picture and try to describe it as much as he can. How many eyes, how many doors, what is he driving?
It's a pretty complicated picture, usually.
Once the minute is over, he starts asking questions, but he doesn't know what the questions were going to be, because then he pulls out the card out of this long sleeve and he goes, did anybody draw 2 clouds?
Nope.
Nobody? 0 points for everybody. Okay, moving on. Did anybody draw a sun?
You didn't say there was a sun.
I did.
You
Wait,
did not.
He did. If at least somebody draws a sun, I get a point. The player who drew a sun gets a point. And then we go through 10 questions. And then the next player is the describer. He gets a new card and he describes it. And that's essentially it. Doesn't matter how well you draw. The sun doesn't matter what it looks like. Even if it's questionably a sun, if you drew it, you get a point.
Any guesses?
No. Dixit.
Herd mentality.
Oh, wow. You rated it high as well. I rated it high, for sure.
Yeah, I see that.
So herd mentality is a super accessible party game. Let me quickly check if it's the most accessible. Well, maybe Classics beat that.
Yeah.
In this game, one player reads out a question. Who is your favorite beetle? What is the favorite flavor of chips? Would you rather have robot legs or arms? And then everybody writes their answer. Yeah, I would too. Yeah, I mean, for sure. And that's how the game works. You want to match everybody. The players who match the most each score a point. So if like 5 players are playing and 3 chose robot arms, they each score 1 point.
Yeah, and you don't want to be the one standing out.
If you're the only one who chose an answer, then you get the pink cow. Yeah, while you have the pink cow, you can't win the game. You still score points, but you want to hope that somebody else is going to pick the answer. You can play pretty much, I think, any amount of players. Board Game Hangovers, best party game of 2022.
I'm pretty sure. If it's not going to be what I think it is, we're
gonna ask to
I'm gonna be
recheck
shocked.
the results. Okay,
Yeah.
what do you think it is?
just one.
Could be. Probably is. Yep.
Just one.
Yeah, because I rated high.
This was my number 1 rated game.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Because it's so easy to play with all ages. It's just so accessible, and my family members ask to play this game. I'm usually the one saying, hey, could we play something? One of you is the guesser. You have to guess one word. Everybody knows which word that is, and what they can do, they can write down a hint. Anything almost goes. You write that down, and then 3, 2, 1, we show those hints to everybody else except that special person who has to guess them.
Yeah.
If anybody wrote the same hint, we have to erase it. Guesser will have less hints. Just a simple premise. Yet it works fantastically, and there's tons of emotions, and you're always like, okay, if he has to guess an apple, I'm probably gonna write down like tree or something, right?
Yeah.
But everybody else will write down tree as well. So nobody writes easy hints, everybody writes tough ones, or we erase everything and there's tons of emotions. Good, amazing. I'm super happy it's number 1 because I think it's deserving for its flexibility for all situations, I think.
We have 3 co-op party games. One is Wavelength, then Dungeon Fighter, and then this one, yeah. And this one is obviously from all 3 co-op most accessible ones. The face of the guesser when he sees the hints is like priceless. He goes, what? And it takes, 20 minutes to play? If you had to pick just one from these party games,
It probably would be just one.
what are your party games that you know?
What do they know? What do they have to know now?
Well, first of all, they have to know that they should like or subscribe or check out our Patreon or become a YouTube member, where you get to see an exclusive video that nobody else does, well, except the other people who are Patreons and YouTube members. Doesn't matter. And also tell us, which party games do we leave out?